Welcome to the Bromley Adult Education College Digital Drop-In Podcast, getting you back to work with confidence.
Hello, I'm Jill Collier and welcome to episode 36 of the Digital Drop-In Podcast. Today I'm honoured to be joined by Lady Juliet Attacco. Hello, Lady Juliet.
Hi, Jill. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. May I call you Juliet?
Just call me whatever I like.
So, we're going to get to the point as to how you were privileged to become a lady in due course. I want to talk to Juliet because she does a lot of voluntary work, and where we started with this voluntary work is that you volunteer in the police section, don't you?
2008 I started.
But now I'm clear that you do an awful lot more than that.
Before then I was doing various things. I was working full time, but I don't have one day rest.
No.
I just do. In fact, I was working 5 days a week with social services, and my Fridays are free. I said, well, I might as well give Met a whole Friday instead of me going half and half. So I give them a whole 1 day a week.
Well, you're very kind.
Every Friday I give to them.
This is going to be about your amazing voluntary work. So can I start with, how many years ago did you say you started volunteering for the Met?
The Met, 2008.
2008.
And ever since I've worked in different departments of the Met.
What does volunteering for the Met entail?
What it entails is that you go to different sections and, whatever help they need, it could be filing, it could be inputting data, filing cases from court, putting them to the right department where they're supposed to be and all that. So
you're going to the offices rather than out in the field?
Yeah.
And are these offices generally in London?
Yeah. Borough was head office for Southwark.
Right.
Then I've worked in Borough head office, and I worked for Woolworth area. I worked in Peckham. I worked in Lewisham. I worked in Lambert, Brixton, any department where they want somebody, because I'm in Dulwich, so I'm in central London. I'm close to everywhere. But my permanent place was Borough, because I was head office for Southwark, where I live.
Right.
Yeah.
And how do you hear about these volunteer roles, Lady Juliet?
Well, I applied, I just looked I Googled it, and I saw Met needing volunteer, and I registered, and they called me. I went for the interview, and that's it.
And so, do they offer volunteer work for all different skill sets? I mean, you're clearly very adept at doing office work.
Yeah.
Did you have to have a certain skill set to be, considered?
No, occasionally they have some training.
Right.
On certain roles,
right,
like the inputting, because of the type of software they use, so you train for it. Because when I was in the criminology section in Peckham, so because of that, you need to register this in this section because you go to the judge.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming. Thankfully, I've never been booked in by the police, so I don't know. But I'm assuming they have bespoke software, do they? Is it a sort of a Met kind of software?
Yeah, it's their own kind of, because everything has to be adapted to their own need anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I have done work with police forces in the past, but in Scotland, not in England, where we've put in kind of electronic data management systems and things, but I don't know too much about the Met Police at all. So they have their own bespoke software, and if you're a volunteer, you go in and learn that.
Yeah, exactly.
That section.
That section only. Yeah.
And in your case, would they then say, you know what, we could really do with some help at Woolworth Road?
Inputting it, exactly.
Yeah,
do this
wherever.
in this section for them, because you've been trained for it, so go for it. So that's what I do. So. It's very interesting, very interesting.
Are you still dedicating 1 day a week to them, or not so much
now? Because since I got my long service award, because at the time they said you got your long service award, you can go whenever you want. So they send the information for me on the email. If it applies to me, like now I have signed to go for the 4th
right
in Lewisham. I'll work for them that day. I'll come from Bromley and go to them. That's no problem. They send me something. It's up to me if I want it. And again, even if I sign for it, I want to change my mind. They will say, if you want to change your mind, you can change your mind.
Right.
So it could be in 6 weeks, I haven't booked for anything. It could be in 1 month, I haven't booked, just anything. So long as it applies to me, and they will be continually grateful to know that I'm coming for it. That's the joy of it, appreciating my gift.
Yes.
It gives me joy.
Yes, I was certainly, and I'm going to look it up afterwards, I was certainly unaware that you could volunteer for the police. I kind of assumed, do you have to take any sort of checking? Does there have to be any...
well, they will check you, check your background, check criminal, whatever, BOD, and various things, they do the checking.
I'm pretty confident I'll pass, but who knows?
And as time goes on, even while you're there, they still checking, making sure your background is good. Yeah.
Yes, I would assume that that you have to be sort of checked in somewhere.
You got to be
cleared,
clear,
before you can be walking into their offices. And actually getting into their offices, how does that work? Do they have to let you in? Do you get a pass?
You have a personal number, ID number.
Right, okay, so that...
a personal ID number.
Yeah. And so what, if you could just think, I know it's hard, but if you could think of a typical, maybe one of the most typical days you've ever had volunteering, could you just sort of think what sort of time do you get there, you know?
Sometimes the days might be tough. Say, for instance, at a time when I'm in Woolworth, advising them, I'm advising these people with a domestic violence issue and all that. I need to book them, get somebody to actually, because they have to be referred to social services and all that. So that's a big tense. And because I work for social services, so I know the area they need to go. I'll give the full advice, information of the section that deals with it. If it's to do with children's section, I know the section that deals with that in social services. So
they're kind of lucky enough in your unique situation to be calling upon your expertise of previous jobs then.
Yeah, exactly.
And so yes, you must be like a dream to them that you come with all this knowledge.
They appreciate your knowledge. That's the joy of it, because I just love it. They appreciate your knowledge, you know.
So if I can just check then, you are a lady and this happened in 2003, did you say? Yeah. So this was prior to being...
Before I joined the Met, I led the team of professionals to Africa, Ghana and Nigeria, trying to get them, and it was led by Save the Children Fund.
Right.
Trying to get this government to actually work with African government because of the children. I don't know if you've heard about looked after record, children looked after record.
No.
These are the children in the looked after record, and they set them out for fostering, and they placed them in a place where they won't learn anything about their culture, and that worries a lot of people. If you check in my record, I was the lead. I was heading Children in Need group.
Right.
I was their coordinator, that voluntary again.
Right.
So because I knew all these things, the contact, the point is that if you want to place a child where the child will learn a bit of their culture. Otherwise, there will be a floater in future.
And are you talking about anywhere around the world, or are you talking about in Britain when a child
because this is where I worked in social services, so I have the record of looked after children.
Yes.
We're talking of thousands of children.
Yes.
And they are ethnic minority children. It could be Jamaica, it could be Nigeria, it could be Ghanaian children. So my leading them to Africa, we were 12 in number, I was the only black person. Led them to Africa for them to build a close working relationship with African social services.
Okay.
They're not as perfect at this, but for them to know that there's a link. So before they make such placement of fostering.
In the UK?
In UK, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have the record. I know how many children are there in the looked after record.
How amazing.
So it's something they need to, so they agree, Save the Children knows what's happening, they know better.
Yes.
That's why till tomorrow I don't stop contributing to them. as individual person, because they are wonderful for what they are doing.
So this would be because I funny enough, I have done some work with a similar charity in the past, and this was kind of highlighting the fact that they could potentially put, let's say, an African child being fostered, let's say, by a white British London family, as an example.
Not even in London. Some of them are Liverpool, far places.
Okay, yes. And
it's so ridiculous.
And this is to then give
that
them...
has relaxed a bit anyway.
Yes, but this is to give them the opportunity to then learn about their own culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what? This was identified, some years ago with something else I was working with. And as soon as it's identified, it makes perfect sense, doesn't it? Because... even when you've seen, I don't know, I've seen these programs where, they find families for you, and they've often said that although they were so loved in the family they grew up in,
it won't be the same.
They kind of knew they were just missing something about, they didn't look like their family. They felt they were missing something. So this is what you were doing right back in 2003.
Yes. No, I said before 2003. I think it was 1998. 1998. That's when we went to multi-professional tour of Africa. Yes.
Right.
So I've been doing the work before I was actually recognized for the peace ambassador anyway.
But then you were awarded as a peace ambassador,
which I am still to tomorrow, because I'll go to the children, girls and women summit. I went in House of Lords in November.
Right.
So the group invite me, so I'll go with them.
How amazing. And what is the process when you are awarded this and you become a lady and your husband automatically becomes a sir?
Yeah.
Did you go to the palace and to get this award?
No, we didn't go to the palace. No, it wasn't any palace. It was the group they are called the International Federation for World Peace.
Right, for World Peace.
Yes.
Lovely.
They are in Lancaster Gate in central London.
Amazing.
That's where we meet, and all the information they get from House of Lords, wherever they invite us, they get it from there, and we go.
So for over 20 years you have been a lady. That is phenomenal. So, but it's not stopped there for you, has it? So you're working with children now in a sort of a voluntary capacity. You work for the Met Police in a voluntary capacity.
I won't get fed up of working for Met Police when I have the time, when I'm in the country.
And that has been for over 15 years to get your long service award.
That was a long service award was last year, last June.
And then, as if you've got nothing better to do with your time, you also work for the local Orpington Rotary Club.
I'm a member.
You're a member.
I'm a member.
Sorry, a member.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel I know a reasonable amount about Rotaries. My father was also a member.
Rotarian. Okay, he was a Rotarian.
But not here.
Okay.
He was in Surrey. And they, again...
Wherever they are, we're all one.
Yes.
The Rotarians are one.
Absolutely.
But we all have the same aim of helping the world.
Yes. And how long have you been working for the Rotary?
I've been a member of Rotary 1999.
1999, so again, a very long-standing
because I saw them, how did I join? They asked. I saw them, people standing on the road and telling people stories. I said, well, I think I have to be part of this. And I joined them.
Amazing.
And I joined them, so...
I'm afraid to say when my father joined, and I couldn't tell you when it was, the Rotary was for men only. And my mother was in something called the Inner Wheel.
Yeah, Inner Wheel. They're the Inner Wheel, yeah.
And I don't know...
And now the women are the leaders.
Oh, are they?
The women are the leaders.
Well, I remember my mother and father being in different arms.
Yes, because the women are women will. But now women are in charge.
Women are.
Because the president now we have is a lady.
Yes.
The one who went to Istanbul for peace conference. She was a lady.
Indeed, the area where my parents are or I'm from, the president is a lady that my father introduced into the Rotary.
Yes.
So yes, I think it all is as one now. But it's just interesting how even something like that has changed so much.
They're 120 years. Rotary is 120 years.
Yeah. And may I ask what sort of things you end up being involved in with the Rotary?
At this point in time, I'm trying to open a menstrual hygiene health education in Nigeria.
Really?
So I'm looking for the funding for them though. I just put in the proposal to them.
Wow.
So for them to see if I can get the funding from them. Because I've got the project, the Rotarians there will watch it out, they will monitor it, and that's why I haven't traveled to Nigeria yet. I want to set it up so that when I go, at least I see it first before they continue.
Amazing. And so Rotary works all over the world. They raise funds.
Yeah. It's 1.4 million people members, and they operate in 200 countries.
And are you finding that sort of 25 years on, is there as many members as there was when you joined?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Even Rotaract are people like the younger ones, yeah.
That's right, Rotaract.
The Rotaract grew into Rotary as well. So,
Yes. And so that's interesting.
we work together.
Do you find that young people are interested in joining the Rotary?
Yeah, they're interested. They're very much interested. Because they get, enticed in many ways. They get enticed in many ways, many interesting things they let them do. They can get themselves in singing and doing various things, get recommendation, get award for it. So,
Yeah. Yes, I think they install a feeling of sort of charity. And doing good for not
doing good for the cause of it.
Yes.
I mean, for good.
It's not always abroad. It can be just for the area you live. You could be raising money for
something. You could
something.
do exchange. You can go to another country. Another person come to you. They work like that. Yeah.
Yes, I was aware.
Exchange.
I knew a girl about 10 years ago that was came from America to the UK and was, what's the word I'm grovelling for? She was supported by Rotary anyway. It was through Rotary that she sponsored.
Yeah,
she was sponsored by Rotary. So I was aware they did things kind of all over the world. But certainly my father, still at 90, would be out with his box for the Mary Curie and things like that, which would be organised through Rotary. So I think they do a lot for the for the UK, for the specific area you live in, and all over the world.
The membership is so wide and it's growing on a daily basis. Yeah.
And how do you find, Lady Juliet, how do you find that you manage to raise funds for the Rotary?
Personally, I remember because I was working when Ebola, the disease called Ebola.
Yes.
I just came back from Canada and the thing just started. I was in a different section then, District 1130, before I joined 1120 now.
Yes.
So I came back. I said, well, because I'm not that active, I didn't have position at the time, because I was still working.
Yes.
I said, okay, I'll do something. I just set it on with all the banks and all the shops in Dulwich and all that I was contributing. Everybody was shocked. Within 4 months, I got 5,000. They said, how did you go? I said, well, I just went to people, told them my problem, and that's what I'm going to do in this one again.
So, from your
so they were surprised. I got 5,000 all on my own.
So from your perspective, if you're sent out to fundraise, you basically meet it head on, you go face to face into shops and look for them to potentially
this is why when
donate.
Yesterday when I went, I said, I did not come to collect the money. You just put the money here. If you want.
Yes.
Not to me, but
no,
put the money
and you're
here.
showing me a QR code.
So the only reference you have is 1120.
Yes.
Which is a district. So you know that's what the contact came to you. That's what I told them. That's what I tell them. I gave about 10 of this yesterday, and I'm going to carry on today. And I made all the copies from my house.
Yes.
So I just do it.
No, that's very interesting. So you you're showing me a poster and it has a QR code on, so you can just take this into various shops and then they can just donate.
Do what they like.
Yeah.
But that's the reference point, so you know how you got the information. That's what I do.
Well, that's amazing.
But I'm going to Tesco now and Morrison because they normally let us have stall outside.
Right.
So I'm going to, in this event, I need to let them know. If they want us to have stall, then I get the Rotarians to do the collection.
Amazing.
And we do collection every Christmas as well, and every important event we do collection.
Yeah.
And I occasionally help Mary Crew to collect as well.
Yes.
In Tesco. So
yes. And it's hard, isn't it? Because shops are under a huge deal of pressure. We as people, you know, I cannot tell you how much my water rates, my London Borough of Bromley council tax. I'm overwhelmed with how much my bills are going up every
month. The council
month.
tax is too much.
I know.
And they put me in this ban. I don't know how they put me in ban E.
Well,
I said, what's all this?
Well, you know, I think I certainly struggle with the bills I'm presented with every month, and yet still sometimes, somehow, as decent people, we manage to dig that little bit deeper, don't we? And
people are helpful. Yeah.
And I think this is what we have to remember, that intrinsically, people are good.
People are good, yeah.
They are good.
People contribute to the well-being of others. You know.
Yeah,
they do. And I appreciate it so much. I appreciate it.
Yes, I think it's wonderful that in these times of hardship, people can still
give out something. Yeah.
And even just a little bit from a lot of
people. It doesn't matter how little it is, because the little builds up.
Yeah, it does make a huge difference, doesn't it? Yeah. Well, what I will do is I will put in the show notes for this episode the Metropolitan Police and the Rotary and things like that, so that people can have a look and see what volunteering
very helpful
very options are available to them, because I think it means you get to meet people, you stay up to date
you get training that you never even pay for it.
Exactly. So I think it's really useful I always say to people, if you can't get a job, volunteer.
Exactly.
Because it
opens the window for you.
It does open the window. And I know you don't have to do it, you do it because you want to. And what an incredible lady you are in every aspect.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Lady Juliet.
You're most welcome.
It's been a pleasure to speak to you to hear of all the wonderful work you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm very welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
This podcast has been produced by Jill Collier for Bromley Adult Education College. For help with all your job searching needs, do visit one of our digital drop-in venues. Our free sessions are advertised on our website at www.baec.ac.uk or telephone 0208 659 7976. We offer free use of computers for job searching, advice on creating a winning CV, plus lots of short training courses to gain skills in the digital world. Don't forget to subscribe to this podcast to receive notifications of new episodes.